Alright, this is a wrap up from that 3-day weekend of digging. My dad and I got back a few days ago and I'm a little bit busy, so here's the wrap up. All of these are the finds from both me and my dad. Uh, I kind of dumped in my finds are kind of down here on this side. My dad's finds are up there. But as you can tell, found a lot of bullets, a lot of dropped, just regular 58 caliber. I'm gonna go through some of these bullets. There's one here. This is a Williams regulation, the same maker that made the Williams cleaners. Which here's the bottom to one of those. But they made a standard 3-ringer too. That's what that is. And then a lot of these Selma bullets. I think my dad has a really good drop one up here. Yeah, right there. That's just a really good drop Selma. Very good Confederate bullet. And a lot of shot Selmas. There, there, and there. There. And there, and there, and there, and there. There. There's a lot of shot Selmas in here. And then there's some pretty cool Federal 3-ringers. Like right here. Got the Swage base. And this one has a 5-point star. And my dad found one, I think, has a 6-pointed star. Nope, another 5-point star. There was another guy with us who found a 6-pointed Swage base. So that's pretty cool. And then I found a shot Enfield with the cherry plug base. That's kind of cool. So I got the base down in there. And a lot of artillery frags were found there. Another one. And these big 2-inch case shot. Or sorry, canister. Or case. I get them confused. But 2-inch and then little these are case shot. Or canister shots. A little bit. These are iron. And a couple more up here. And my dad found a nice U.S. Navy fuse. You can tell this right here is the fuse part. You can see the right there is where it's screwed into this outer kind of brass bushing just to expand it to maybe fit a bigger shell. And as you can tell right there, it blew out the top of the fuse, which would have had the Navy ordnance and maybe the year on it. But that part blew off, and he found a little bit of that. This little bitty part that would have gone on top of this. He found this right around the same spot, but he couldn't find the rest of it. But unfortunately, this is the part where there's no wording. He did find a fuse plug in a Federal trench, the very bottom of it, and you can tell where it blew out that way and kind of bent the metal. I don't think that's to that shell because it was found pretty far away. But I do think I found a part to another one of these. If I can find it. It's here. It's the actual water cap system. It's brass. And it would go down into the fuse. And since these were Navy fuses, they wanted to be sure that the powder inside the shell wouldn't get wet from any moisture, on the ships being out at sea or in the rivers. And this is only half of one, but the purpose of this would be inside the fuse. And this kind of blocked the channel, and whenever this was fired out of the cannon, the flames would come around and actually enter the fuse from the top, and would have to enter either this hole right here or this hole that's offset. So the flame would actually have to come in and then make a sharp 90-degree angle and then go back out. So that's why this part of the hole is dead centered, and the other hole over here is off centered a little bit. The fire had to, like I said, go through and then make a 90-degree turn and come back out. And that was just to prevent any moisture from leaking down into the fuse and then into the shell. But this right here came out of a Union trench not too far away from my dad's fuse cap. But that's kind of cool. I had no clue what it was until I started researching my dad's fuse. This is probably not from that fuse because it was found maybe 300 yards away. But that's kind of cool too. The actual water cap system for these fuses. But that's about it. My dad did find it was a pigeon band from like Oklahoma City. It's a racing pigeon band. So I guess they would race those pigeons, and this one got shot down close by. It was probably eaten because we found it near a house site. So, and a lot of percussion caps. My dad found a few percussion caps, but I found, I think it was like 60 in the bottom of the trenches and out in the open where the Confederates were attacking the trench, and back and forth, the Federals were attacking the Confederates in their trenches. Now, there is something cool here that I'm still trying to figure out what they are. My dad found one the first day, and it is a shot Selma bullet, but the bottom ring is crimped over, but the weird thing is the base. And if you can see the base, it looks a whole lot like an explosive Gardner, which I think I have one over here. Let me get it just to compare. Okay, so this is an explosive Gardner, and the bottom is where the flames from the gunpowder would enter the back, and then there's like a little kind of copper spherical little piece in the front of the bullet where there'd be a little bit of charge in there, and that would actually cause the explosion and then blow apart the whole bullet. But if you can, where'd the bullet go that I just put down? You can see the similarities of it. And I'm still kind of wondering what it is. It could be where a soldier, there is no grooves in here that show that it's been pulled. One idea was that it was loaded in backwards and then somehow pulled back out and then fired the right way, but that doesn't really make any sense to me why they would have to pull it back out, because I've seen plenty of times where a soldier has fired it, the wrong way, and I found bullets like that, or they just well, never mind, but I don't think it's been pulled. The other idea is it's been rammed, and that's why it looks like an explosive bullet, but I still don't understand how this could turn into that by ramming it. I just don't understand, because I've looked inside there, and these walls they're not that wide in that base. There's still a base, a plug base like Selma's, but I just don't see how that could happen from a ramrod. But that's the only thing I could think of right now, unless this is just a different type of bullet that was made in the Selma arsenal. My dad found out the first day, and the very last day we were there, I found one. It's a Selma, and the base is almost identical to my dad's. So, and they've both been fired. There's rifling grooves on the sides, but I just cannot figure out what would have caused that. So if any of y'all can help me out here, this right here looks a whole lot like an infilled ramrod mark. And that's why I think that's what that is. But this one over here that I found doesn't really look like a ramrod mark. It's got kind of like a square cone in the middle, unlike this one. So the only thing I can think of, like I said, is it was rammed in backwards and then fired out. But the weird thing is that the noses of these things show impact. Like that right there, that shows impact. And this nose shows impact. So I'm still kind of baffled. But so they could have been fired backwards and just rammed on the back, and that caused these disfigurements or whatever they are. Or they could just be a new type of bullet that hasn't really been found very much. But I don't think they're exploding bullets, because like the Gardner, the Confederates did have some exploding bullets they were testing on. I haven't seen pictures of them because a lot of them have only been found in documents. But I just, like, that looks very similar to an explosive Gardner. But the Gardner did have a little insert, a little brass, cavity in there with the charge. And these two, you can actually, with a light, look down in there, and it just looks like the bottom of a regular Selma. It's got that plug base. So, I mean, it could be an experimental type of Selma bullet. I don't know. But those two were kind of weird, that we found two with kind of the same deformations at the same battle site and kind of in the same general area. So, but other than that, like I said, a lot of bullets, a lot of frags, a lot of canister and case shot, and a fuse. But other than that, it was a really good weekend. I've never had the chance to actually hunt in a battle location. And this was very heated battle. As you can tell, they were firing case shots and canisters and shells back and forth, and a lot of shot bullets from both sides. One last thing that I just completely forgot about. This is why you never ever throw away your iron pieces, which you can see here that we still have some more iron pieces here that we haven't cleaned up. But this right here is something that the very last day of the hunt, we were done with the hunt, we were cleaning up our finds, and this little piece of corroded, rusted up metal that I'd found, I laid it on the desk, and we're cleaning up everything, and my friend goes, "Is this yours?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "This has got to be something," because he poked through one side and saw he could poke through, and then he poked through another side. I said, "This has got to be something." So I start picking at it with a toothpick, and lo and behold, it's actually a worm. So this right here is one of the screws, and the other screw starts right here and goes around, and it broke off right there. That's the other end of the screw right here. I'm going to keep it. But that's a worm or a ball puller or a wiper. So this part right here would have screwed into the end of the ramrod, so they can put a patch in here, a little cotton patch, and clean the barrel. Also just scrape the bottom of the barrel, the breech of the gun, to clean off any gunpowder residue or anything other fouling in there. So this right here was found in that battle site. So either it dropped out of their cartridge box or whatever, but they lost this. But it's heavily corroded, which is why I couldn't ID it when I first found it. But I don't think I'm going to put this in electrolysis. If I do, there's not really much good metal left on it. I'm afraid it's going to fall apart. But that's why you never, ever throw away any type of iron that you may think is junk, because you never know what it is until you fully clean it up. But so forgot about that. It was in this box. It was separated from everything. But now I'm done. So that's everything I found. One last look through. on bullets. So there you go. Alright, well, I'll get a new video out hopefully soon. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, post questions you have either on YouTube or my Facebook channel. Alright, thanks.